Welcome back to Behind the Yellow Tape, the podcast where we delve into the secrets of forensic science, explore some of history's most infamous cases, and discuss how forensic analysis shapes our understanding of justice today. I'm Patricia, and today we're diving into a fascinating subject, handwriting analysis, also known as forensic document examination. On today's episode of Signatures of Crime, the Science and Secrets of Handwriting Analysis, we'll explore the principles behind this form of forensic science, discuss a famous case where handwriting played a crucial role, and end with the current event that highlights the ongoing relevance of this skill. To kick things off, let's talk about what I learned in my latest module on handwriting analysis. Handwriting analysis, or forensic document examination, is a science based on the idea that each person's handwriting is just as unique as their fingerprints. But unlike fingerprints, handwriting can change and evolve over time. Think about it. How you wrote in high school might be slightly different from how you write right now. But still, there are elements in our writing that remain distinct to us. In this module, I learned that forensic handwriting experts look for specific characteristics. These can include letter size, spacing between words and letters, the slanting of letters, the pressure used to write on the paper, the unique characteristic like loops, hooks, and flourishes in words. All of these details help examiners identify patterns that can distinguish one person's handwriting from another. Forensic document examiners rely on these patterns to authenticate documents or to link handwritten notes to a suspect. One thing that stood out in my studies was the degree of detail that goes into these analyses. Examiners use high-power microscopes and other tools to see what the naked eye might miss. Another interesting thing to point out is the difference between graphology and forensic handwriting analysis. Graphology is the idea that handwriting can reveal personality traits. It is not scientifically accepted in court. Forensic handwriting analysis, on the other hand, focuses on the physical act of writing, is admissible as evidence because it is more scientific based. This was an important distinction as it shows how careful forensic science must be about sticking to methods with proven validity. Now let's look at a famous case where handwriting analysis made a difference. I'm talking about the Lindbergh kidnapping case of 1932, often called the crime of the century. For those unfamiliar, Charles Lindbergh Jr., the son of famous aviator Charles Lindbergh, was abducted from his home. The investigation led to the discovery of a series of ransom notes written in a distinctive handwriting style. One of the key pieces of evidence in this case was a ransom note with unusual spelling and phrasing. The note's handwriting was analyzed, and this analysis eventually pointed to a man named Bruno Hauptmann. Sorry if I said that wrong. Hauptmann's writing was compared to the ransom notes, and there were enough similarities to help build this case against him. Examining his handwriting, experts noticed certain quirks that were consistent with the ransom notes. While handwriting analysis wasn't the sole evidence in the Hampton conviction, it played a crucial role in the prosecution's case. The handwriting analysis, combined with other evidence, ultimately led to his conviction and execution. This case illustrates how forensic handwriting analysis can provide investigators with vital leads and can sometimes be the thread that unveils the entire mystery. Although handwriting analysis alone won't typically be enough for a conviction today, it is still a valuable tool in forensic investigations. Now you might be wondering, is handwriting analysis still relevant in our digital world? Surprisingly, yes. Even as we move towards digital signatures, handwriting still plays a role in certain areas. For example, in cybersecurity, handwriting analysis has applications in identifying forgeries and detecting fraud. Recently, there was a case involving a series of forged checks that were linked back to a criminal network. While most of our financial transactions are digital, many banking systems still rely on signatures for verification, especially for high-value transactions. Handwriting experts were brought in to analyze these signatures, confirming that they had been forged. This case is a reminder that despite advances in technology, there are still times when handwriting analysis provides an extra layer of security. In cybersecurity, it's often used alongside digital forensics to verify authenticity and protect against fraud. Imagine being able to catch a criminal not by following digital footprints, but by spotting the subtle differences in a forged signature. This current event shows that even in a world dominated by typing and digital communication, handwriting analysis remains relevant and useful. It's fascinating to think that a skill developed long ago to authenticate documents is still being used to protect against fraud today. So what have we learned today? We explored the malicious science behind handwriting analysis and saw how forensic document examiners use this skill to authenticate documents and link handwriting to suspects. We looked at the Lindbergh kidnapping case as a historical example of handwriting's impact on forensics investigations. We even touched on a modern case that shows its relevance in cybersecurity. Handwriting analysis may seem like an old-fashioned skill, especially in today's digital age, but as we've seen, it still has valuable applications from identifying forgeries to supporting cases in court. And who knows, as our digital security needs grow, handwriting analysis might even evolve to become part of a larger toolkit in fraud detection and forensic investigation. And before we go, I'd just like to add my input in how fascinating I find handwriting analysis. I did an assignment with my family and tried to identify who wrote a note. We did a secret game and one person wrote a ransom note and I had to figure out who the person was from their samples. While it was difficult not being a trained expert, it was fascinating to see all the different patterns and techniques that people used when writing. For example, my mom wrote cursive a lot with her writing. My dad wrote very small. My sister's handwriting was very unique in her spacing and gapping between letters and how she wrote her S's. It's just fascinating how I was able to look at these little details and find out that my sister was the one who wrote the note. I figured using a real-life example would provide me with the insight to do today's episode. I suggest you all to give it a try if you're up to it and see if you could identify forensic handwriting, or if you find it fascinating, or if this is something that you think is useless or useful in court. Thank you for joining me today on this episode of Behind the Yellow Tape. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. I'll be back with more deep dives into forensic science and true crime. Until next time, keep an eye out for the details. They may be the key to unlocking the truth.